Good afternoon, guys. Hey, Ryan here. We're going to talk today about, we're going to be in the book of Jonah, chapter 2, verse 1 through 10. Today we're going to be talking about just how we run away from God. You know, how 25 years of my life I was afraid of God. You know, I thought that God was mad at me, that he hated me, that he just wanted to, kind of, chastise me, condemn me, that he was angry with me. And so I just ran from him, ran from him. And that's what happens to Jonah, in chapter 2. So I'm just going to read it to you, and then he comes to his senses, and this is what he says. He says, "Then Jonah prayed." Oh, sorry. All right. So then we'll start here. Okay, chapter 1. All right. "Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights." Right. So this was after he ran away from what God told him to do. Right. He was running away. "Then Jonah prayed to the Lord, his God, from the fish's belly, and he said, 'I cried out to the Lord because of my affliction, and he answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol I cried, and you heard my voice. For you cast me into the deep, into the hearts of the seas, and the floods surrounded me. All your billows and your waves passed over me. Then I said, I have been cast out of your sight, yet I will look again toward your holy temple. The waters surround me, even to my soul. The deep closed around me. Weeds were wrapped around my head. I went down to the morning of the mountains. The earth with its bars closed behind me forever. Yet you have brought up my life from the pit, O Lord my God. When my soul fainted within me, I remember the Lord, and my prayer went up to you, into your holy temple. Those who regard worthless idols forsake their own mercy, but I will sacrifice to you with the voice of thanksgiving. I will pay what I have vowed. Salvation is of the Lord." So the Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land. Guys, it says in the book of Psalms, it says, how can I escape the Spirit of the Lord? If I ascend to Sheol, you are there. If I ascend to the heights of heaven, you are there. No matter where we go, guys, God is with us, and he wants us. Like I said, 25 years of my life, I ran away from God because I didn't know him, so I was afraid of him. I didn't have fear. Now, fear is wisdom, right? Fear is understanding his majesty and his holiness and his greatness and his goodness and his power and his awe and just his reverence and just the fact of his majesty and his glory. That is what fear is. Fear comes with wisdom of understanding that he controls everything. Like, he holds the world in the palm of his hand. Like, he's the one who can destroy both body and soul in hell, right? We shouldn't even be fearing the enemy, right? Because he can't do that. But God, in his infinite power, majesty, and awe, wants us. He desires us. And I ran for 25 years of my life, and just like Jonah was running. But then he came to his senses, and he stopped, and he remembered God, and he prayed. Now, that didn't happen to me because I didn't know God, but on the day that I met the Lord was the day that I stopped running. On the day that I didn't even know if God existed, but I knew that if there was a God, I was going to blame him for my problems in my life because it wasn't my fault. Because I didn't take responsibility for anything, and I never owned up to anything, and I lost everything. I lost my wife, I lost my daughter, my home, my cars, my dogs. I lived in the basement of my friend's house. I was so rock bottom, and that day was the day that I stopped running from the Lord. And I turned around and I yelled at him and screamed at him. I even cussed at him, threw everything that I could at him that was inside of my heart. And when I was done, the Lord spoke to me and said, "Ryan, do you hear me now?" And God just filled my heart with his love, and he just embraced me and gave me a huge hug. And that's all that Jesus wanted to do, was just embrace me and love me. And for 25 years of my life, I ran because I was afraid. But I was running from a lie that the enemy had put in my mind of who God was, not of who he really was. Because look at who he really was: embracing, loving, forgiving, grace-filled, mercy. Oh. So look, guys, maybe you're like Jonah. Maybe you're running. Maybe you know the Lord and you've gotten mad at him and something's gotten into your heart and the enemy's twisted it and turned it. Maybe you're upset at God. Maybe you're just running from him, and today you just need to come to your senses and say, "You know what, Lord? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, God." Maybe you were like me. Maybe you didn't know God, and maybe you just didn't even believe that God existed. But if God did exist, you were going to blame him for your stuff. You know what? That's okay. Because you know what, guys? God can take it. God can take it. He can. And all he wants is for you to be honest with yourself and honest with him. And the day that I was honest with him, because he already knew what was in my heart, was the day that I met him. And the day that he changed me 7 years ago. and the day that he gave me a new heart. And I want that for you guys. I want you to know what it's like to taste the grace of God, to sip from that drink of that unending well of grace, and to just be changed from the inside out, to be given a new heart, a new mind, a new spirit, and let him work on your soul to make you a new creation as he sanctifies you in this world until you go and be with him forever. But guys, listen, I don't care where you are, what you've done, or who you think that you are. It doesn't matter. God loves you. He wants you. He's pursuing you. He's coming after you. And all he wants you to do is stop and say, God, I'm sorry.